The concept of using 100% of our brain cells has been a topic of fascination for years. It's often depicted in movies and TV shows as a source of unlimited potential and superhuman abilities. But what would really happen if we were able to use our entire brain? Firstly, it's important to clarify that we do use our entire brain. Every part of our brain has a specific function, and even when we are not consciously aware of it, different regions are constantly communicating with each other. The idea that we only use 10% of our brain is a myth. However, if we were somehow able to access and utilize all of our brain cells simultaneously, it's likely that we would experience some significant changes. One of the main functions of the brain is to conserve energy, so if all parts were activated at once, it would require an immense amount of energy. This would result in an increase in metabolism and potentially a decrease in appetite. Another potential effect would be an increase in sensory perception. Our senses are limited by our brain's ability to process information, so if we were able to access more of our brain, we would be able to perceive more of the world around us. We might be able to see colors and patterns that are currently invisible to us, or hear sounds that are too faint for our ears to pick up. In terms of cognitive abilities, it's difficult to predict exactly what would happen. Some experts believe that our brain's capacity for creativity and problem-solving would be greatly enhanced, while others argue that it would lead to information overload and mental exhaustion. It's possible that we would be able to process information and make decisions more quickly and efficiently, but it's also possible that our brains would struggle to cope with the increased workload. Overall, the idea of using 100% of our brain cells is intriguing, but it's important to remember that our brains are complex and finely tuned machines. While accessing more of our brain's potential might lead to some interesting effects, it's unlikely that we would suddenly become superhuman. Nevertheless, the brain remains one of the most mysterious and fascinating organs in the human body, and there is still much to be learned about its potential. Some people have speculated that using 100% of our brain could lead to extraordinary abilities, such as telekinesis, telepathy, and precognition. However, there is no scientific evidence to support these claims. In fact, there are some cases where using too much of our brain can be harmful. For example, epilepsy is a condition where the brain's electrical activity becomes too intense, leading to seizures. Using too much of our brain could potentially trigger such seizures, and even if it didn't cause seizures, it could lead to a higher risk of developing other neurological disorders. Moreover, using 100% of our brain might not necessarily lead to positive outcomes. Our brain is responsible for our emotions and behavior, and it's possible that using more of our brain could lead to increased stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues. In conclusion, while it's intriguing to think about the possibilities of using 100% of our brain, it's important to remember that the brain is a complex organ, and there is no guarantee that using more of it would lead to positive outcomes. Rather than focusing on the idea of using 100% of our brain, we should work on improving our cognitive abilities by engaging in activities that challenge our brains, such as reading, solving puzzles, and learning new skills. By doing so, we can keep our brains active and healthy without risking any potential harm that may come from trying to use all of our brain's capacity.
Thank you guys for watching our video. That's our first video. I hope you will like this video. Also follow our social media platform, link is given in description.